It's been one of the biggest construction projects for the county in many years, the redevelopment of the 47-acre County Operations Center in Kearny Mesa. While the most visible improvements are the large office buildings, there's more to this project than concrete and steel.
It's material that we're not as familiar with.
Okay, there's still steel, but here it's in the form of thousands of tiny ball bearings.
The very finest part of this experience for me is meeting the artists and watching them work.
Jeff Redlitz is the project manager for the COC redevelopment project, which means he oversees everything. And today, the job has taken him to the studios of Ball Nogus in Los Angeles. Jeff and public art consultant Gail Goldman are checking in to see how one of the newest additions to the campus is taking shape.
Well, this is a very small part of what I do every day on this project, but it's very gratifying and it's fun. And it's something that I've done throughout my career, but not to this level of this scale and this kind of investment.
This investment, which equates to only 0.5% of the entire $358 million development cost, is creating one of the newest public art collections in San Diego. Large suspended sculptures are the signature pieces, and this one, called Waterline, consists of 10 miles of ball chain, which all has to be arranged in a very specific order.
Yeah, so we're making a factory. Of the 2,600 odd strands which are in the project, each one is unique in length, each one is unique in its distribution of color. Each of the chains is comprised of several mini chains, and each of the lengths of the mini chains is slightly different.
It was thrilling to be in the studio, which it always is. That to me is one of the most exciting aspects of the project because it's tangible. The design utilized state-of-the-art technology in all the calculations and all the drawings. I mean, it was very, very high-tech. And the process of building it was completely low-tech.
Gail was brought into the project because to create great art, you have to find great artists. And Gail knows a lot of artists, notably ones who can fill large public spaces.
She knew that we had done pieces that hang in spaces, and she thought that we might want to propose something for the COC. That's this one.
Gail also found Anne Mudge, who, while Ben and Gaston were assembling ball chain in LA, was twisting wire in her rented space in Escondido.
We're working with a very highly polished stainless steel wire, and which has a life and muscle of its own, you know, and so you're essentially collaborating with the material because it will do what it wants to do.
Anne Mudge's sculpture is pretty spectacular in the sense that it has that dichotomy of a kind of industrial armature with hand-woven, delicate wire work. Anne literally spent 10 hours a day for an entire year, 7 days a week, hand-weaving this material.
Yeah, we like to say, you know, if you ever need a DNA sample, it's embedded in these pieces.
In much the same way, the entire collection, 22 works by 14 artists, serve as the DNA for the campus, giving a unique stamp to each building. These pieces are a big part of what keeps the COC from being another bland office park.
The opportunity to create a really cohesive vision for an art collection is pretty extraordinary, and to the credit of Supervisor Roberts and Jeff Redlitz, they had the vision and made the commitment, understanding what a difference it would make for the people who work here and visit here. So it's really exciting.
What we wanted to create was a total environment, landscape and buildings and convenient parking and a campus-like atmosphere. And what they've done is introduce public art in a way that seamlessly fits and feels so natural with everything else that it's hard to imagine these spaces without it.
A few months later, Anne and her crew, as well as Ben, Gaston and their crew, are very carefully lifting their sculptures into place, giving a sense of place to buildings 5500 and 5510.
Okay, watch out for obstacles here.
It's hard not to think back to the 1930s when another county building was being erected downtown. The Guardian of Water, a public art piece for its time, still stands as an iconic symbol of the county administration center. 75 years later, these new county buildings are getting their own signature creations.
There's a lot of thought that goes into how you buy art, who you buy it from, where to place it, how to take care of it, how to mount it. When you build a 100-year building, the art should be as lasting as the buildings, or more so.
When 3 of the new buildings opened in August of 2012, all of the artists were invited to a reception to usher in the new works. One of those artists, Jay Johnson, who has created over 16 wall displays using county artifacts, was happy to see the culmination of countless hours of work.
To see all the artists together and to see the reactions of the crowd, you know, it's what I expected and what they deserve. It's really exciting. It just adds a humanness to this, to the whole campus that wouldn't be there if it was just department logos and signage.
What this really does is puts a stamp on what the philosophy is at the county. We want to have a pride in our public buildings. We don't want to have run-down buildings that aren't being maintained and cost the taxpayers a lot of money. What we really did is we built for the future.
I'd like to thank the people that saw this through, had the foresight to say, yeah, we are going to include artists. It's important for this whole development to have art included. So I want to thank them for hanging in there and being able to deal with a bunch of crazy artists.
What will I remember about this project is my involvement in the art program. And I think when people visit and leave, it's possible what they remember most is the art that they saw, and the art of this scale and the number of pieces. Because the architecture is very good, and the site plan is very good, and the landscape and the whole campus experience is good, but you know, what do you walk away with? And it might be those art pieces.
In fact, the pieces are causing many to walk to the campus based on the growing reputation of the collection. Yes, a county office park has become sort of an art gallery.
There are groups of people throughout the community who have made this facility a destination for the art alone. Because of its accessibility and because it is for the public, you can come here and experience extraordinary art and not have to worry about going through a turnstile at a museum. This is something special.